Howdy. Today we're looking at acid shells, specifically. Obviously on Sobek, because, well, it's an augment for Sobek, but we're going to be talking about acid shells and how it has value outside of Saryn, because I see a lot of people say that you shouldn't use it if you aren't using Saryn, and I disagree. If you aren't using anything that can help it, then you should not, and if you're trying to go for single target damage, you should not. But acid shell still has lots of value, plenty of value outside of Saryn. So, acid shells. It's the augment for Sobek. On death, enemies explode, dealing 450 corrosive damage, not a corrosive status proc, that's just the damage type, plus 45% of the enemy's max HP, the one you kill, in a 15-meter radius. This does require line of sight, which is pretty finicky too. Even enemies can count as line of sight, like if you hit an enemy, it won't hit an enemy behind them sometimes, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So, we're actually gonna, we'll stick with this build. 45% of the enemy's max HP. If we're shooting an enemy, we're going to kill enemies of equivalent health around them, then we are going to need to increase that. The only damage that can increase this, like none of these mods increase this, is going to be a Bane mod, and I don't like Bane mods, so we aren't going to use that. So how do we increase it? Well, most enemies, or at least enemies that are worth killing, right? Enemies that don't take more than, or that do take more than half a hit of damage, are typically flesh enemies. In that case, you can always apply Viral in an AoE with Panzer Vulpaphyla or Diarrhea, but Panzer works better. That's already, if they have enough stacks, that right there is going to be enough to kill them. Assuming you have armor strip. That's the other important thing, is you will need to strip armor, otherwise they are not going to take jack shit for damage. But we can full armor strip with this specific build on mag, and that's the only thing we're going to be doing is armor stripping and Panzer Vulpaphyling. So, come in here, wait for our Panzer to start, spreading his aids everywhere. Here we go, might as well kill this enemy so it spreads faster. Beautiful, reload, do that, and now watch. They all took okay damage, not the guys on the edge. Now, look at that. Pretty great, huh? I'm not Saryn. Panzer armor strip. That's literally all it takes is armor strip on your frame, which a good amount of frames have, or you want to put on via helmet. And a pet that's already like the most used pet in the game because they're the strongest pet in the game, let's be honest here. Literally for one of the least amount of effort you have to do to make it work. It is not difficult to make it work. I don't know, Acid Shells is not only good on Saryn, and it's annoying that people say that, because it's very good in general. It gives you a lot of AoE. Sobek is a pretty mediocre shotgun by itself, even Kuva Sobek, but with this, it's quite strong. And you gotta armor strip a lot of the time in endgame content anyway, so what's it matter? It's not hard to do. Other things you can do are anything that will make the enemy take more damage in general, right? Like debuffs rather than buffs that affect yourself. Or, of course, Roar. Like, let's say you're going Rhino. You're still gonna need armor strip, sad face. And Rhino's got no armor strip inherently in his build, but he does have Roar, which is big PP damage. So here, we'll go here. Let us say Blind Rage, Transient, Umbral Intensify. Then we're gonna want this shit, right? Yeah, there we go. Big PP damage from this, and this, like I said, affects the damage from your acid shells. So now we just need armor strip. You would want to put an armor strip of helmet on him, okay? That would fix it. But because I don't, we're going to be using Unero. It's not consistent for this build in-game, right? Like in a mission, so I would not recommend doing this. We're actually going to take Panzer off right now. But it's not asking much to put an armor strip on Rhino. That's pretty damn easy, okay? So we'll grab this, come over here, and then I'm going to need to strip them all with Unero. Uno, a dos, a tres, a quattro. Voila. Cast Roar. And now, look at that. See how crazy that was? That was pretty insane. Now, the reason it didn't kill them all immediately, in case you're wondering, because both was when I was on Mag and when I'm on Rhino right now. Again, that was without Viral, right? So this worked on non-flesh type enemies. So the reason it did damage but didn't like kill them all on the first kill, but it did on the second, is it hadn't done enough damage to kill enemies near them, right? So if I armor strip again, the acid shells does have damage drop off. It does not do the full damage at the edge. It's like 90% damage at the edge or something like that, whereas at the epicenter it does the full damage. So when I get the first kill, you can see only get some of them low, and the guys at the end, these guys ain't take any damage, probably because he was blocked from LOS, right? There we go. They're not dead. But when an enemy dies to acid shells, it counts as a Sobek kill to proc acid shells, which is why when I kill the second enemy, if it kills any enemies around, that enemy dies, that enemy will then proc acid shells, and then the enemies around them die and they proc acid shells. It's chaining. Which is why it goes from doing damage, some damage around, to all of a sudden everything's fucking dead. So yeah, acid shells, very strong, not just with Saryn. You should try it out on some other frames, right? Like, give it a shot. It's very interesting. A great frame you could use it with is Gyre, since you're already armor stripping. Though, Gyre, never mind. Gyre would probably kill everything by herself anyways. Never mind. Gyre's too powerful. Caliban. So, like I said, Roar increases it, but also any damage vulnerability. So, Sentient Wrath is actually going to increase the damage that enemies take from your acid shells as well. In this case, it's 90%, so it's not as much as that Roar was doing. Though Caliban also... Oh, wait, because it's annoying when you knock enemies away unless you have something sucking them in, so we're going to run Vazarin. Once they eventually fix Caliban's annoying ass throwing enemies around, since they plan on reworking him, look, we can armor strip them. Then... Sentient Wrath. And now we kill them all. Damn, so there we go. These guys were a little too far away. Right? Caliban already in his base kit has damage vulnerability to apply to enemies and armor strip. You don't even need a helmet on Caliban to make it work with Sobek. Isn't that funny? Everyone says Caliban sucks, and here he is. He works pretty well with Acid Shell Sobek. I dare say he's one of the next best options other than Saryn and then maybe Rhino. Saryn and then Rhino and Caliban are great options. Obviously, it's going to be the most broken with Saryn, but Saryn's broken in general, okay? That's just how it is. But that doesn't make it have no value on other frames. I've ranted and repeated myself enough in this video, I'd say, so we'll call it a day. That's going to be it for the Acid Shells video. If you... Wait, did I... Who did I start the... Oh, I started on Matt. Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you liked, then maybe like the video and subscribe. That would be awesome. Adios.